Today we're going to continue with our Iron 883 mod series. We're going to be replacing the handlebars, grips, speedometer location, and getting rid of this eyebrow. And we're going to replace it with all that. Stay tuned. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Get Wrenched Garage. Today we're going to continue on with our Iron 883 mod series, and we're going to be putting in the Biltwell Keystone bars with the RSD gauge relocation and with its accompanying lights. We're going to use this Joker Machine top clamp, and then we're going to finish it all off with this Kuryakyn grips that I got here. We're going to be putting that in on the Iron 883. So here we got the Iron 883 with its stock bars and gauge mount. And as you see, the gauge mount sits up fairly vertical. And with a lot of gauge relocations, most people move this gauge and take it off and mount it down here on the side, which is a good look, but that's something I really wanted to do. I wanted to keep the gauge more visible. And I think at some point I'm going to replace this gauge as well to a tachometer versus the speedometer. Bigger thing too is we're going to be removing this eyebrow that sits above the headlight. And the way the headlight mounts right now is to this eyebrow. So when we lay down the gauge, the headlight will actually mount to the gauge cluster. So that is one of the good things from the RSD mount, is that we can now get rid of this eyebrow and clean up this front end a little bit. So we're going to get started on this. We're going to do more of a montage install since it is a fairly easy install. There's not much to it. Taking bars off is fairly simple. It's just removing a few screws on the controls. It's removing some screws on the top clamp, slipping everything off and putting the bars in. Taking off the gauge cluster is also fairly simple. We're going to be putting it back into here. But other than that, shouldn't take too long, and it's a pretty easy mod to do. All right, so let's get going. All right, so we got our tools out. We got our T25 and T27 Torx and a 1/4 inch hex socket. So let's go ahead and take that left side control off. All right, so now we're gonna start with the right side, and we don't need to remove the entire thing. We just need to loosen it up enough to slide it off. All right, so once you have the throttle controls loose and they're sliding here, now we're gonna take off the clamp holding on the bars, and we'll be able to slide off the controls in one piece and get the bars off. Alright, so we have the bars off and we have the controls off. So the next thing we have to do is take the speedometer out of its old case. So before we do anything with the electrical system, it's a good idea to pull the main fuse out. So we're going to pull that out just to make sure we don't do anything when we're messing with the speedometer. What we have to do is remove these two screws holding the indicator lights. Indicator. All right, so here we have the old speedometer mount, and we'll be removing the speedometer out of here in a second, but for now we're just going to put it here. The next thing we need to do is take off the eyebrow and headlight. So we're going to remove this little cover here. Okay, so now we have the front end disassembled. The headlights off, the eyebrows off, the handlebars are off, the controls, the speedometer, and all the cables are off. So right now we have no front end on our bike. So now we can start putting everything back. I'm gonna clean up some stuff first, and then we're going to start reassembling. All right, so now that we get everything disassembled, let's open up the packages and get started. So here we go. This package is ridiculously hard to open. All right, so here's the RSD gauge mount. And you see it's just one piece, a couple bolts, headlight mounts underneath. So we're gonna be reusing the existing hardware from the light. So now we're just going to install this. So we've gone ahead and mounted up a new gauge bracket and have attached the LED lights. We had to cut the old lights off and solder in the new lights to the harness. So we've gone ahead and do that. We're gonna wire wrap those, and then we're gonna attach the gauge and mount it in here. And once we get all that done, we can go ahead and start mounting the handlebars. All right, so now before we tighten down our bars, we're gonna find what angle we want to keep them out. Yep, so there it is, new install of the new Keystone bars by Biltwell, the RSD gauge relocation, which is more of a cafe racer style, and it got rid of the eyebrow that sat above the headlight, and now the headlight mounts directly to the gauge. And we put in some new grips with these Kuryakyn grips, a little more comfortable than the stock ones. And overall, I would say this is a pretty good easy install. The only hardest parts were the soldering of the new LED light gauges down here to the wiring harness. But you know, if you have some basic soldering skills, it's pretty easy. Other than that, it's just a bunch of screws, not too hard. It is a couple-hour install if you have the time, and it changes up the look of the bike. So let's roll some of that cool B-roll footage and check it out. All right, there it is, all complete. We got our new bars installed and our gauge relocated, plus our new grips. And I think it's looking pretty good. Nice little mod for the Sportster. So, you know, thanks for sticking around, thanks for watching. And if you could, you know, hit that subscribe button below, hit that like button, every little bit helps. And stay tuned, I got some more mods in store for this bike and something over in that box. And we'll get started on that pretty soon. If you can guess what it is, leave a message in the comments. All right, thanks for watching again. All right, see you on the next one. Peace.